Good morning, students. Today, let me continue with that class Mammalia part 3, under which today we are discussing about order Ungulata and order Proboscidea. Coming to the first order Ungulata. The order Ungulata includes grazing and hoofed mammals. You have seen the hooves of the many mammalian animals which are very common to our daily life. The best example is with reference to these cows, buffaloes, goats, sheep, and other such mammalian animals. And it is believed that ungulates and carnivores have evolved from a common ancestor or a stock, and based on the nature of food and dentition, ungulates are classified into two groups. The first one being Perissodactyla and the next one is Artiodactyla. Let us go through the salient features of these two groups, that is Perissodactyla and Artiodactyla, with the help of a tabular form. So coming to the first character, and in case of Perissodactyla, it is described as odd-toed forms. That means they have odd number of toes in their legs. Whereas in case of Artiodactyla, they have even-toed conditions, hence these are referred to as even-toed forms. And in Perissodactyla, the third toe or the digit is functional one, and rest of them are said to be non-functional. Whereas in case of Artiodactyla, the second and fourth digits are functional. And in case of Perissodactyla, the foot is mesoconic, that is, the axis of the limb passes through the center of the third digit, which ends with the cornified hoof. It is because of this anatomical difference that the third toe is said to be functional. Whereas in case of this Artiodactyla, the foot is said to be parasconic, that is, the axis of the limb passes between the third or fourth functional digits, which end with cornified hoof. And in case of Perissodactyla, the gait is unguligrade. And in case of again Artiodactyla, the gait is said to be unguligrade. You know the meaning of the term unguligrade. That means having the hoof-like projections in the legs. And coming to the Perissodactyla again, the limbs are generally long in relation to fast running. And in case of Artiodactyla, also the limbs are generally long in relation to fast running. So these are some salient features of these two groups, the subgroups of order Ungulata. And coming to the other features, first thing is with reference to feeding habit, wherein Perissodactyla are said to be herbivorous, and even Artiodactyla are also herbivorous. And the stomach is simple, saccular, undivided, and the intestine is long and cecum is large. You know, in all herbivorous animals, the intestine is usually longer, whereas in case of carnivorous animals, the intestine is greatly reduced. And the stomach is complicated and chambered in case of Artiodactyla, and they are said to have digastric stomach. And the animals of this group chew or ruminate the cud, and therefore they are also called as ruminants or cud chewing animals. And the intestine is long and cecum is small. Dear students, you know what actually this process of rumination or cud chewing? You all must have seen that these cows or buffaloes or such other ruminants, when they are obtaining the food material in large quantities, they just swallow it and push the same thing into the first chamber of the stomach. And during its leisure time, they are going to regurgitate that food mass that has been taken during the first process of swallowing, and that is taken back to the mouth and that is being chewed thoroughly, and then such a food mass which is thoroughly chewed is going to deliver into the next part of the stomach. So this process is called cud chewing, and as they have two chambers in their stomach, it is said to be digastric stomach, and the process is called cud chewing, or technically known as rumination, and hence the animals are called ruminants. And coming to the dentition, the dental formula is 3143 by 3143. The same thing is with reference to both Artiodactyla and Perissodactyla. And the incisors are adapted for cropping in case of Artiodactyla, and in case of Perissodactyla, the upper incisors are lost and lower ones bite against the hard gums. Then the canines for fighting is being used in case of males of this particular Perissodactyla, whereas in case of Artiodactyla, the premolars and molars are distinct from one another, and the teeth are described as bunodont, wherein cusps are rounded, and solenodont, wherein the cusps are crescent shaped or half moon shaped, and they appear like longitudinal ridges. So that is what the difference between this Artiodactyla and Perissodactyla. Then coming to the premolars and molars, in case of Perissodactyla, these are more or less similar and as described as lophodonts, and the cusps are fused to form the reverse edges. So this is the difference between the premolars and molars of Perissodactyla and Artiodactyla. And the next difference is that the number of dorsolumbar vertebra in case of Perissodactyla is about 23. You know what are these dorsolumbar vertebrae? You must have studied about the different regions of the vertebral column, like the first one being the one which is there in the almost in the head and neck region, and that region is said to be sacrum, and the next region is thoracic, and the next region is lumbar, and the lumbar leads to caudal region in case of those mammals which have tail region. And the number of such lumbar vertebrae are about 19 only in case of Artiodactyla. And the femur bone, the thigh bone, has 3 trochanters or the projections in Perissodactyla, whereas in the Artiodactyla the third trochanter is absent. And the frontal bones of the skull are not extended into horns in case of Perissodactyla, example horse, and in case of Artiodactyla the frontal bones of the skull extended into horns. That's why the cows and buffaloes, they develop horns in their head region. It is nothing but the extension of the frontal bones of the skull region. And the mammary glands are inguinal in case of Perissodactyla. So also the same thing is with reference to Artiodactyla. And the placenta is diffused or epithelio-chorial type in Perissodactyla, and it is diffused and cotyledonary and epithelio-chorial type or syndesmochorial type in case of Artiodactyla. And the examples for Perissodactyla are horses, ass, zebra, tapir, rhinoceros, and for Artiodactyla, sheep, goat, cattle, deer, hippopotamus, giraffe, camel, buffalo, yak, pig, and others. So this is what with reference to the order Ungulata, under which Perissodactyla and Artiodactyla. So here in this slide you will be observing the different types of such herbivorous ungulate animals. So this is for your reference. So though you must have seen these animals in photographs or in TV channels or in some other places, this is for your reference. You can see the foot region or the ungulate condition in case of all these animals which comes under order ungulata. And here with reference to the ungulata continuation, you will see that some ungulates, they have even conditions of their toes, which are called even-toed ungulates, and some will have odd number of toes, which is said to be odd-toed ungulate. So this is the situation in case of cows and buffaloes, where you can see the even-toed condition, and in case of horses it is odd-toed, and even in zebra. And here on the right hand side of this slide, you will be observing the bones of that particular ungulates, the different types of ungulates. And here again in the downside of this slide, you will be observing the different patterns of such hooves in the different members of this order Ungulata, and this is again for your extra information. Now coming to the next order, Proboscidea. You know the meaning of the term proboscis, that is trunk, which is very much enlarged and well developed in case of these members of this group Proboscidea, which are nothing but elephants. That's why the members have got that name Proboscidea. And it includes living elephants, extinct mammoths and mastodons, and they are also called subungulates, which are a peculiar group of isolated plant eaters or herbivorous animals, and with primitive ungulate tendency, that is the digits end up with hoof-like nails. That's what you must have seen in case of an elephant foot. And Proboscidea are the largest of all the mammals distributed in Asia and Africa. The body is gigantic, massive, and is divisible into large head, strong neck, massive trunk and short tail. The skin covering body is very thick and very loose with scanty distribution of hair. And the head shows the following features. That is, a pair of small eyes, a pair of large flat ears, that is external ears or pinna, and the proboscis on the mobile trunk, and the long tubular structure formed through the modifications of the upper lip and snout. And at its tip there are a pair of external nostrils, and the proboscis acts as a prehensile food gathering apparatus. That is what you must have seen in case of these elephants, that is, with the help of their proboscis they used to collect the leaves or the branches of the trees, and they are going to swallow it or eat upon them. Then a fairly large mouth is present with peculiar dentition. So the elephants have a very peculiar type of dentition. The dental formula being 1033 by 0033, that is, the number of incisors are only 1 in upper jaw and it is 0 in case of lower jaw. So this is a very unique condition in case of these elephants or the members of this order Proboscidea, wherein in other mammals the number remains the same in both upper and lower jaw, but here you can see the difference, that only the upper jaw will have incisor but lower jaw will not have the incisor. While the incisors are completely absent in the lower jaw, that's what I told you, and only the second pair of incisors present in upper jaw are enlarged to form the tusk. So tusk is nothing but the enlarged modification of this incisor teeth. And the solid dentine structure described as ivory, and in an elephant member Loxodonta africana, the tusks weigh about 120 kgs and grow up to about 12 feet in length, while the tusks are present in both the sexes of the Indian elephants, while in African elephants they are confined only to males. And canines are absent completely both in upper and lower jaw. Premolars and molars are quite large and are lophodont in nature. And elephants exhibit a very peculiar way of prolonging their life of the tooth succession. and usually the milk set prevails in young individuals and permanent set in adults. In a given time, 1 to 2 molar teeth will be functional. When they are worn out or when they are said to be non-functional and removed, after years of service, they are replaced by the next molar teeth. The molars are adapted to grind the vegetable foods. So, this is with reference to the peculiarity of the features of the dentition in case of elephants or the members of the order Proboscidea. And the trunk shows two pairs of pillar-like pentadactyl limbs, and each having the digits covered by common integument, and each digit is ending with hoof-like nail, and the digits of the hind limbs show pads on the ventral side, and the gait is described as digitigrade to semi-plantigrade. And the stomach is small and simple, intestine is long and cecum is large. And the skull is large and skull bones enclose ear spaces, continues with nasal passage to reduce the weight. So brain is small, though they have a very big head, but the brain is said to be small, and cerebrum is convoluted, having more number of foldings, but does not cover the cerebellum. And the testis is abdominal. Females have a pair of thoracic mammary glands, not inguinal one but thoracic one, and they are generally mature at the age of 12 to 15 years, and their lifespan varies from 10 to 200 years, and the gestation period is about 20 to 22 years, very longest gestation period among different mammals or all these mammals for that matter. That is why in Kannada it is said to be Gajagarbha, meaning the long gestation period of these elephants. Elephants lead a very social life, and they form groups called herds, and in each herd the number may vary from 10 to 100. So these are all some important characters of the order Proboscidea, and in this next slide you will be observing the different varieties of these elephants or the members of this order Proboscidea. So this is what American mastodon, and this is what woolly mammoth. It is called like that because it has thick fur on the body surface. And this is what African savanna elephant, which is called Loxodonta africana. And in the bottom side of this particular slide you will be observing different varieties of elephants, and this is for your reference. And in this slide you will be observing the different parts of this elephant body. Probably you have learnt about them already, but this is for your extra information. So with this I have completed 2 more orders of this class Mammalia. So with that, let me stop at this level. Thank you.